Hi, I'm Rachel Kinsler. Welcome back to another episode of Eating Adventures. Today we're going to make a great fall dish, Italian sausages with kale and white beans. This dish is one of my family's favorites. It's a really easy one-pot meal and not too difficult to put together. I first read about it in an old magazine, Martha Stewart's Everyday Food. Now they've discontinued this magazine, but all the contents of those are available through the Martha Stewart Living website. She's also put out a cookbook which compiles many of these types of recipes, and that book is available through the Baltimore County Public Library. I encourage you to use both online sources as well as book sources, because there's so much out there that can be used for different recipes. For this dish, you're going to need the following ingredients: 1.5 pounds of mild Italian sausages, 1 large bunch of kale, half a head of garlic, 1 can or 15 ounces of white beans, a pint of cherry tomatoes, olive oil, salt and pepper to taste, and red wine vinegar. Your first step is to get your sausages ready. I set the broiler to low. Some machines will work at different temperatures. Either way, unless you know your oven very well, you're going to want to make sure you keep checking the sausages as they're cooking. I take out the links, put them on a tray, and especially if you use foil, it makes cleanup a lot easier. The sausages will get very scorched on the outside, which is nice for caramelization, but it creates a mess. Now that our oven is ready, put these in. Now we're going to begin cooking the vegetable part of the dish. We're going to use our kale and garlic. We're going to saute them first in a little bit of olive oil, put in some water, and then let that steam. And that's going to start cooking. The kale is very large and fibrous, and slowly it will wilt down a bit. It will still have some chew at the end of it, but this way it won't be quite as tough. We're going to set our burner to medium. Add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. Then we add in our kale. This seems like a lot of kale, but as with other greens, it cooks down dramatically and changes its size. It will reduce to about 1/3 to half of this over the course of cooking. Also add in our garlic. Half a cup of water. We're going to get this started sauteing just a little bit, but then we're going to put the lid on, and that will trap in all the heat and help the kale wilt better. Once your kale has reduced in size, we're going to add in our beans. Any white beans will do. I've used cannellini beans. You can also use Great Northern beans. They come in different sizes, but that does not affect the dish in any way. They're all interchangeable, at least for the purposes of this dish. Let's check our sausages again. They are almost done. When you're cooking sausages, you want the outside to be crispy and the inside to still be all juicy, so that when you cut through it almost bursts apart. All right, I think that our kale has wilted sufficiently and the beans are warmed up. Now we're going to add in the tomatoes and turn the burner off. I like keeping it a little bit low so the tomatoes still keep a bit of their firmness, and that way it just doesn't all go to mush. It makes it a little bit sweeter when the tomatoes aren't cooked quite as much. One more time for the sausages. Oh yeah, I think we're done. We're going to transfer the sausages to a cutting board. Now this is in no way a really healthy dish when you're working with sausages. One way that I like making it a little extra yummy and a little less nutritious is to add in any of that sausage oils back into the dish. This is entirely optional. We're going to slice up the sausages. And this will give nice mouthfuls, so you get a little bit of sausage, a little bit of kale, a little bit of tomato in each bite. Doesn't have to look pretty, but get them to mix really well in with the rest of the ingredients. There you are. Next, we're going to add our seasoning, salt and pepper, and then the red wine vinegar. The reason we use something like red wine vinegar is when you have a dish that has a very rich component like sausage or any other meat dish that has a lot of fat in it, it can become too rich and heavy. And it's really nice if you have some sort of acidic component to balance that out. For us, the tomatoes do that. In fact, they did not even exist in the original recipe. I added them in later, found that it worked better. And then the tartness of the red wine vinegar also helps break that greasy flavor to make it more balanced all around. So this is something you can add in little bits as much as you want, and then sometimes people add additional parts to their own bowl. My daughter especially really likes adding a lot of vinegar. So have that be another component that you can do to your own taste. You've got pepper. And some salt. And that's it. Our dish is done. Now you have our finished dish. Great fall recipe, Italian sausages with kale and white beans. Thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Rachel Kinsler. I'm a librarian with Baltimore County Public Library, and thank you for watching Eating Adventures. We'll see you next month.